Hello, this is sorry, I was letting the little automation tell me it was recording. Hello, this is Dustin Puryear with Autotask Office Hours. Again, Dustin Puryear, Giant Rocket Ship, Autotask Office Hours. Normally, I work requests from emails or that I get in chat, but I was just kind of hanging around the Autotask user group on Facebook and I saw a really good one. So, what they wanted to do was create a report that showed which technician did the most work on the ticket. And they wanted to use time entries for that, which is another plus one for why time entries are important. So let's take a swing at this. Now, I have kind of a stated policy. With rare exceptions, I won't prepare. Like I won't try to solve this beforehand. And I do that even though sometimes we'll in the webcast without a solution. I do that so you can see my logic of how I'm trying to solve this. Now, what you're seeing here is notice we're in the dev tenant, so we got the user update. I mean the user interface update. So again, what this person is trying to do is trying to determine who worked the most on a ticket. So let's figure out how we would do that. And so we're just going to find a random ticket here and let's add two resources to it. And let's first of all see if we can add some time entries to this puppy. Cindy Jones. Now I think I have the time entry. I think they call it the proxy where you can add time entries. I think that I have that on my account. Let's see on my login. So I'm going to say, this is going a little slow today. This is P pairs entry 1, and then let's just put this for 9:03 a.m. and then let's all right, so let's do save and new, and then let's do 2 time entries for Dustin, and we're going to do entry number 2, and let's just say that we did work yesterday at the roughly the same time. And then let's add an entry for Cindy. That way we have time entries for Dustin, my logins, P pairs. And then we're going to have a time entry for Cindy. Interesting. I guess I didn't have to put her as a secondary. Cindy Jones. And Cindy number 1. And then let's put her in here for 45 minutes. Okay, good. So now we have time entries on this ticket. So the question is, how do we easily know who worked the most on this ticket? There's not really going to be a good dashboard way of doing this. And honestly, I'm not sure why you would want to even do that. But I can see doing a report. Now, of course, the report is going to want to do for like, show me all the tickets for a given time period and who was the person that worked these tickets the most. We're going to cheat though, because that's going to take too long to keep running the reports. So we're gonna do the report designer. If anybody's having an issue seeing my screen, I am sharing it. Let me know. Sometimes I'll go for 30 minutes and find out I'm not properly sharing it. Now let's do a new report. And it's a standard report. Who worked ticket most? And move this out of the way. Let's do next. And I don't want to do this. It's not necessarily approved and posted. Resource utilization. Might be it. The problem with resource utilization is that it's not going to give you the ticket. And we need to productivity. This is going to be it. And so we're going to do a work detail. That's our primary row. That's our detail row. And everything else is going to be associated with that detail row. So we also we also care about the ticket or task and then the resource. So this should be enough to get us started. And really what I'm thinking through now is like, how am I going to filter down on this? Now, to keep life simple, let's just focus on the generally when you're dealing with time entries, it's rare that you're going to use the create date time. It's typically going to be the activity date time, the work date. Do they have the work date time? Let's see. Start date time. There we go. The problem is it's rare to ever care about the create date time with work entries because in your organization maybe you backdate. Maybe in the afternoon or the next day you enter your time for the previous day. That's clearly not best practice, but it does happen. I've seen it. And so be careful with using create dates. Um, okay, filters. We only really care about this ticket because we don't want it to have to take forever to run. And so the ticket number. Is this how it works? It's been a while since I've been in here. Why does it say title? It's weird. Okay, and so I never use this. And now let's skip. So again, what we're going to do is, that was frustrating. Let's try this again. What just happened? Who worked? Hopefully, it saved some of what I was just doing. Okay, good. No, it did. Yes, it did. Okay, good. So the first thing we're going to do is let's just see what happens. We are going to get the ticket task number, and then we're going to get the ticket title, and then we're going to get the resource name. And I like to use the username. It's never ambiguous. Whereas you might have more than one Bob Smith. And let's take a look at our work detail. Not build hours, that's variable. What we want is hours worked. And I think we put that in as a summary note. I like to save just in case we get a little crash. And let's see. Now let's just see what we get the first run. One of the struggles with doing live reports, really a reporting for any major application, is that sometimes reports take long. It's not just Autotask, I have found. And that is clearly not correct. Now, the reason I'm saying it's not correct is notice it's grabbing all kind of things and it's not just doing that one ticket. So I wonder if it's not saving my filters. That is weird. Apparently that filter is what crashed it. So let's run this again. And again, what we just did is now we have a report that's just going to pull that one ticket. Normally, you wouldn't do that. Normally, you would do it by like a ticket date range or a work activity date range. Um, and this is as expected. It makes, okay, well, we have our core data. So now we can at least see the work against that ticket in hours. So we want to see who's got the most hours per ticket. What now you can't just sort by the hours worked because Cindy may be up here with 3 hours on a time entry, and then P Pierce may have a two, a one, a five. I mean a one, a half. And so even though Cindy has the largest single work entry, she doesn't have the most work on the ticket. So what we're going to do next is we're going to let's think through what we're doing. We want to know who worked the most hours. So the first thing is we need to know what's the total time worked by resource so we can have something to compare. Therefore, we want to group by resource. And so what I would say next is we're going to add a section and we're going to do a group header by Mhm. Okay, so we want to sort by resource username. That way, it knows how to group this stuff. That's basically what we're doing. And then let's go ahead and move this out. And now we'll be able to create a group header based on resource. And watch what we're going to do here. We're going to say, and then we're going to do a group footer resource. And we're just going to do a sum of this thing. Let's just do it like this for now. I like to usually put equal sum, blah, 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 but okay, actually, we don't want the header. We want it like this. You'll see why in a second. And I do save a lot in live reports. So what we're doing now is this is going to be ultimately we're going to hide the detail row by the end of this report. And let's see what happens here. So it's chugging along in that one ticket. Come on, buddy, you can do it. Uh-oh, get a little scared. Now it's coming back. And now we've summed these values. This is correct, and that's correct. Okay, now we actually have two numbers we can compare, and we've associated with them this. So the next thing would be, how do we only show this? So what I want to see is, let's look at conditional. That's usually how to solve this stuff. Press row if how do we want to do this? So I'm just looking at, I have the Autotask docs open over my other browser. So what we're trying to figure out, who's got the max? Port footer. Ugh, forget the exact thing here. So C6. This is thorny. So let's run it and let's see if at least gets that one. Circular. Oh, so I was referencing my own cell. All right, so this is gonna, what's the max value of this output? And so right now I'm just fishing around, trying to work through this mentally. And again, this is why I use, that's not a circular loop. C5. AgMac C5. How is that a circular loop? All right, so let's try this again. I'd like to just do this live so you can see how to think through building a report. Doesn't matter if you're using crystal reports or whatever. So look, it did find this. That's good. And then let's see the aggregate stuff. Trying to figure out how would we, I know this is possible. It's in my bones. I feel like I did a similar webinar in the past. So we would generally, let's just say we're going to make this red. And we're going to make it red if cell value equals, it's been a while since I used these. Is it true and false? I can't remember how it likes to do these things. Let's see. So right now, I just want to see if the logic will support saying, look, we're going to max these out, but then I don't know when in the code they actually do the conditional formatting, but if they do the data and then they come back and then do the conditional formatting, you would see if this value equals that value. And I don't know how to use this. So I'll show you here what we're doing. And so if, how does this work again? If cell value equals, I'm trying to remember how this works. If, not if, is it? I shouldn't exactly this conditional unexpected token. Oh, it doesn't like that, does it? I don't think this is right, but I'm trying to remember, how does it, if cell value, I'm trying to remember how it wants the data to come back from that conditional. It's been so long since I've played around with this. While it's running, let's see if I've used these anywhere else. Should evaluate the true or false. Does anybody remember how this works? Let's see here. So I don't think that's it, but let's try it. I know I have conditional. I thought I had conditional somewhere. Okay, here we go. So that worked. And so watch what I'm doing here. Processing. All right, so what I'm doing, just knowing that the way that the logic of this report tool probably works. I don't know for sure, but just think through it. Would it do conditional formatting and then do the math, or would it do the math and then the conditional formatting? And so almost definitely it's going to want to do the math, have the report, and then come back in and do the conditional formatting. So what we're saying is, look, compute the max value. Then when you're doing the formatting, come back as if this row equals the max value, it's the big one. And one of the values of one of the benefits of this approach is like if you have somebody, three people with this that are all equaling the same max value, then they're all going to be um in red. Now you can also use this to suppress the rows. And so I think I like this approach. I think this is going to work. And so let's see here. So the foreground should be white. And well, that's goofy. I gotta go recalculate this. Here we go. And then the background, let's make it red, just because we want. Again, you could just as easily just have this be suppressed if not equal to the max. But I want to be able to see all the rows. I like to see this stuff while we're suppress rows. And then again, I'm a constant saver of these. I think we have this port footer. And what's interesting is I don't think we need this. I think what we can do here is I think this is going to show us the ticket, the resource. You definitely don't want, you know what? Let's make it even prettier. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a header based on, don't want it to do it based on the, you want to do a, oh, we would have to sort by the ticket number, which we can do. So what we're going to do here, we're going to sort by ticket number. We're going to put that up top. Boom, boom, boom. And then we're going to, up here, we're going to put the ticket up here. And what I like about this, can we merge this? Merge cells. And there's a benefit to this because we want to make it kind of like a little pretty report. I was trying to see if I can adjust to the right, but no. And then we have this. I think this is it. So let's see what happened. And again, we could use suppress for rows where the people are not using the max. But just for developing the report, I like to see all the data in front of me, and then you can go tweak it afterwards. So nice. So look, it's going to do it. And again, if C Jones had 3.5 with this logic, it would show them both as having the max on this. And another nice thing is now you see everybody that's worked on a ticket and the variations. You could also use work entry counts for this. That would work. Anything that you can tabulate or summarize or whatever, you can use this logic. And so now we both know, because I actually haven't worked through this before, the trick to figuring out min max kind of stuff, especially where you want to hide non-relevant data or highlight the relevant data, is remember that calculations, non-conditional formatting calculations, the math of the report is done first. So you can refer to that math in your conditional formatting, even if it's outside your current section. So you're producing like a data table. And that's it. I think we got this puppy working. You could do something a lot more sophisticated again. Now that we're sorting by the ticket number, the showing the work, instead of doing a ticket number, you could do a date range for the ticket creation time, et cetera, et cetera. You can also do this for accounts, right? So you could say, you could flip this. You could say which accounts consumed the most work, or for an account, which resource was consumed the most by work for that account. So I hope you found this helpful. Again, Dustin, giant rocket ship. And this is my Autotask office hours. Have a good one.